Before we begin this heart-wrenching journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss powerful stories from around the world. Welcome to this special documentary. Today we will dive into a story that shakes the very foundation of trust we place in machines, men, and fate. A story that will make your heart tremble, your eyes water, and your mind drown in a whirlpool of unanswered questions. The night is June 29, 2009. The world was asleep, but in the mysterious depths of the Indian Ocean, a tragedy was unfolding that would shock the world. An aircraft carrying 153 souls disappeared forever, its fate sealed not by war nor by terror, but by the cruel combination of human error, environmental challenge, and perhaps something far more sinister. This was Yemenia Airways Flight 626, the plane that never reached its destination. But hidden within this tale of loss and sorrow lies a miracle. A miracle that reminds us that even against the wrath of the sea, the courage of a single human being can prevail. That miracle was 14-year-old Bahia Bakari, who fought the darkness, waves, and despair for 10 hours, and lived to tell the tale. This is not just a story of an accident. It is a saga of courage, of unanswered mysteries, and of lives forever changed. Was it merely a tragic incident, or something far more complex? Buckle your seatbelts, because this journey is about to test your heart and your beliefs. Aviation has often been described as the safest mode of travel. Statistically, your chances of being in a car crash are thousands of times higher than in a plane crash. And yet, when airplanes fall, they don't just crash. They shatter worlds, leaving behind scars that remain etched in global memory. Think of Air France Flight 447 in 2009, which vanished over the Atlantic Ocean, its wreckage only discovered years later. Think of the infamous Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 in 2014, still one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our time. Think of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, which revealed the vulnerabilities of modern aviation to terror. And amidst these chilling tragedies stands the story of Flight 626, unique because out of 153 lives, one fragile thread of hope refused to snap. The scene: Sana'a International Airport in Yemen, just before 5 a.m. The airport hums with the quiet bustle of early morning travelers. Families huddle together, whispering final words before departures. Children laugh, tugging on their parents' sleeves, unaware of what destiny has written for them. Newlyweds, excited for their honeymoon, clutch hands and dream of their future. In the middle of this crowd stands Bahia Bakari, a bright-eyed 14-year-old French girl traveling with her mother to visit family in the Comoros Islands. Like most teenagers, Bahia is curious and restless. She points to the sky and asks her mother, "Maman, will the sea below really be that blue?" Her mother smiles softly, stroking her daughter's hair. But deep in her eyes lingers a strange unease, as if her soul knows this would be her final flight. The aircraft waiting for them is a Boeing 737-800, glistening under the faint rays of dawn. A workhorse of the skies, considered one of the most reliable jets in the world, introduced in 2002. To most, it's a symbol of safety and progress, but tonight, this machine would become a coffin. The pilot, Captain Maher Abdullah Ali, had logged over 7,000 flying hours, an experienced aviator, trusted with countless lives. His co-pilot, younger and with about 2,000 hours, was still learning to master the skies. Together, they were tasked with guiding this metal bird through one of the most challenging airports in the world, Prince Said Ibrahim International Airport in Comoros. Why challenging? Because its short runway, outdated lighting, and tricky coastal winds had earned it a reputation among pilots. Landing there, especially at night, was not a task for the faint of heart. Yet 142 passengers and 11 crew members boarded with faith. For them, this was not a dangerous mission. It was a routine flight. A chance to reunite with family, start a honeymoon, or simply see the turquoise waters of the Indian Ocean. None could foresee the storm of fate waiting for them. The plane takes off smoothly. Hours pass in quiet monotony. Children drift to sleep. Passengers read books, and crew members serve drinks with polite smiles. Somewhere in the cabin, a father clutches a toy airplane he plans to gift his son in Comoros. A mother hums softly to her baby. The newlyweds whisper promises of love. Bahia gazes out her window, dreaming. But in the cockpit, tension brews. As the plane approaches Comoros around 1 a.m., conditions deteriorate. Winds whip at 50 km/h. Rain obscures visibility, and the small runway lights flicker faintly against the dark backdrop of the sea. The co-pilot warns, "Sir, speed is too high." But fatigue, overconfidence, or perhaps pressure blinds Captain Marr. Instead of slowing, the plane continues descending at nearly 450 km/h, twice the recommended landing speed. The air traffic control hears their final message. "We are on approach." And then, silence. Moments later, Flight 626 vanishes from radar. Screams erupt in the control tower. Emergency calls go unanswered. Within minutes, the aircraft plunges into the Indian Ocean, shattering upon impact. 153 lives extinguished in seconds, or so it seemed. Amidst the wreckage, amid the waves as dark as ink, one life refused to surrender. Bahia wakes up in the water, surrounded by nothing but floating debris and endless night. The cold cuts her skin, her tiny body bruised and battered. Her mother is nowhere to be found. All she can hear are the howls of the ocean and the pounding. Of her own terrified heart, she clings to a piece of wreckage, drifting aimlessly. Hours blur. 10 hours of loneliness, hunger, exhaustion, and fear. She thinks of her mother, of her home in France, of life itself. "I just remember trembling in the water," she would later recall. She was alone in the dark, with only the roar of the waves for company. And then, as dawn breaks, fishermen spot her fragile figure bobbing in the sea. A child, barely conscious, yet alive. Rescued against all odds, Bahia becomes known as the Miracle Girl. Her story echoes across the world, compared to other survivors of unimaginable tragedies, like Vesna Vulovic, the Serbian stewardess who survived a 10,000-meter fall in 1972. But Bahia's survival is unique. She battled not just gravity, but the merciless sea. In the aftermath, grief-stricken families demanded answers. Why did Flight 626 crash? Was it a technical malfunction, pilot error, or something darker? The black boxes were only recovered in 2011, nearly 2 years later, at depths of 900 meters. And even then, much of the data was incomplete. What was discovered was chilling. The aircraft had been descending too fast. The co-pilot repeatedly warned of danger. The captain ignored him. The final seconds were filled with chaos and screams. Official reports labeled it pilot error, combined with poor training and the difficult conditions at Comoros Airport. But conspiracy theories also arose. Some whispered about terrorism. After all, Yemen in 2009 was a breeding ground for extremist groups. Others questioned whether the incomplete black box data meant something was deliberately hidden. Meanwhile, families mourned. Compensation was offered, but no amount could replace the dreams and laughter stolen that night. The tragedy left deep scars. Tourism in Comoros collapsed. Yemenia Airways, already under scrutiny, lost what little international trust it had. Aviation safety protocols were reviewed worldwide, especially concerning pilot fatigue and training. But the most enduring legacy remains Bahia herself. Today, she is a grown woman, an author of her memoir, Moi Bahia la Miraculeuse, Bahia, the Miracle Girl, where she recounts her survival. Her story reminds us that even in the darkest waters, the human spirit can float above despair. Even now, more than a decade later, Flight 626 raises haunting questions. Why was the black box data incomplete? Why did the captain ignore repeated warnings? Could outdated airport facilities have played a bigger role? And most chilling, could the truth have been buried with the wreckage? These questions place Flight 626 among aviation's great mysteries, alongside MH370 and others. Perhaps we will never know the full truth. Flight 626 was more than a crash. It was a tragedy that exposed cracks in aviation safety, a mystery that still whispers in the waves of the Indian Ocean, and above all, a tale of survival that shines like a lighthouse in the storm. As we remember the 152 souls who never returned, we also celebrate the courage of Bahia Bakari, whose willpower defied death itself. Friends, this was the story of Yemenia Airways Flight 626. What do you think? Was it human error, environmental misfortune, or a conspiracy buried deep beneath the sea? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. More mysteries, more truths, and more stories await you in our next journey.